as far as games, since around about 1978.
Roleplay started for me in high school, but nothing serious at that point. At that point, I was introduced to second edition D&D, but our dungeon master was kind of a hack. You know, he was the kind of guy who was, I'm your god, so do what I say. At that point, I took a break, honestly, until I came up with you guys in college is when I really started playing with Jen and Steven fencing. So at this point, annually playing probably about 7 years. Started when I was about 20.
Introducing a couple of my friends to the game, explained it to them, and just basically jumped right in. I ran a few games for a couple friends, and then started literally playing almost every day right after school. And then eventually, as we played, we developed a campaign world around the characters.
I equate this to my first experience teaching in the classroom. You spend all this time in prep and learning how to be a good leader, and then you go in and your kids just utterly destroy it for you and take it every which way, and you realize you just rip your lesson plan in half, and at that point, you're stuck. So your first experience is always an interesting one. I wouldn't say it went how I planned, but it's definitely an eye-opener. It sure sets the pace for things for you. Mine specifically, to be detailed, my first experience was Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition at this point, and at this point I didn't have a ton of material, just pretty much your core text. I was running off pen and paper, no miniatures, no anything at this point. So when I came in, I had these grandiose tales of constructing kind of my own module and vision and everything, but, you know, things don't always go how you plan. Your characters decide that they don't want to be so good like their alignment says they are. So, a little bit interesting.
Pendragon, D&D, the box sets, the BECMI edition, AD&D 1 and 2, Cyberpunk 2020, Star Frontiers, and Paranoia.
Favorite RPGs, I'm a big Dungeons & Dragons guy, so pretty much anything in the fantasy realm is my genre. You know, playing Warhammer is an eye-opener. It's definitely a different system, but I really did enjoy it. I'm not really a sci-fi guy, but that kind of gives me a feel for it. I've never ran a game in that sense, but I enjoy playing it. So pretty much anything in the fantasy realm keeps me where I need to be.
As answered on the script thing, I don't really have anything I say unique. I do have the ability to improvise pretty well, though. I can just play on the fly. But I also don't. I keep track of of the campaign world. It's constantly going on in my head, even if it's not on paper. So I don't limit it to just paper.
Something unique about me is that, much like a teacher, I'm kind of open-ended. You know, I provide the structure, but other than that, I'm not there to push you in any direction. I'll open the door, but I'm not going to kick you through it. And I don't think that's necessarily unique for me. I think that's kind of common among GMs. But other than that, I try to incorporate a little bit more of a faith-based system than is inscribed in all the texts. In that sense, you know, you can gain virtue or gain, you know, type of malignancies based on taint points. So your actions are really continuous. You don't just pick at the beginning and then you're stuck with it.
Favorite would be AD&D 2nd edition. It's for a number of reasons. One was it added complexity that I was looking for after playing the BECMI editions. And not that I didn't like AD&D first, I did. It just was a revision of the rules. Least favorite, that's easily 3 or 3.5. I didn't like the shift in importance from role-playing to dice and statistics. It just took too much out of it took too much away from the characters and the point of a role-playing game as far as I'm concerned. And there was just too many rules that didn't make sense. They just made, and I baited it, so
Yeah.
I watched those rules develop into nonsense.
Of course, the big question. Well, obviously the least favorite has to be 4.0. I feel like in 4th edition they kind of World of Warcraft it, and they tried to make it more of a modernized action type RPG game, and they kind of pulled away from the origins of that. I'm a big fan of 1st and Advanced, but obviously being brought up in the 3rd edition era, 3.5 kind of tops it off for me with all the materials, all the supplements, all the options. Everything there really does kind of hold true for me. The only thing about 3.5 I'm a little bit iffy on is how powerful the characters are. It seems that in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd they just kept getting more powerful and more powerful. So it's a little bit difficult at times to knock your players down a peg if you're strictly by the books.